you're not enough. Oftentimes we grow up with parents who means well. We end up dating someone who we think has our best interests, but we come back to the place of self-sabotage with some of them people that we dated or family members telling us that we're not enough.
Are they saying those things, or is that something that they demonstrate, right? Because I think that everyone's going to tell you, oh, I'm healed, I'm enlightened. But everyone at some point in time can reflect back to a point in their life or a situation in their life where they have encountered someone that they truly love or care a lot for. Like you said, it could be a family member, it could be a past burning flame.
You have flames still burning?
No, they're not burning, but they burned. They burned, honey. But
that sounds like an STD.
Jesus. But they are all those experiences, can sometimes we take those things on because we think to ourselves, if only I was enough, they wouldn't have, or if I was worth this, they would. And we allow people's behavior, because all behavior is communication, right? We allow people's behavior to communicate to us what our value is and what our worth is, and whether or not we are as worthy or as them or the other person they could have chosen. Like, I've been in that situation before where the person didn't choose me. And I thought that, well, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I'm not worthy of their love, or maybe I'm not worthy of love because...
But some of that is also, I think, learned behavior. So
from whom? From where?
From parents.
So you think our parents told us, or you think our parents demonstrated in their behavior that we weren't enough? Like what?
They weren't enough. So therefore we perceive that we're not enough.
What often bothers me about people in general, people say, I'm not responsible for how you feel.
Parents are. We are.
Yes.
We are responsible for, especially in the nurturing stage.
Whenever it comes to matters of the heart, you leave yourself vulnerable, right? That's just what it is.
For the most part.
And you are allowing another flawed human being into your space. And if you are truly there for the right reasons and you open up your heart, there is a risk, no matter where you are, who you are, how much money you have or don't have, no matter where you live in the world, there is still a risk that you can get hurt, right? And based on the trajectory of that relationship and the health of that relationship, you either get positive seeds sown, or it's like a bank account where people are just withdrawing from you. And you adopt...
Been used.
Yeah, you adopt this feeling or not personality, you adopt this feeling, or based on your experiences, their behavior tells you or makes you question, is it me? Like, am I the drama? Am I the problem? Because the way that they're treating you, the way they speak to you, the way they handle you, the way they show you attention or not attention, affection or not affection, it leads you to question, if I were more, if I were better, if I were different, would I get a different response or reaction from that person? And that's a normal thought to have. Now, I don't agree that we should sit in that feeling for too long. Maybe that's what you're trying to get at.
No, I just think if you are mature or seasoned, right, that when someone tries to draw too much from you, you need to know when to say enough.
But I don't know that it's a matter of maturity. You have people who are insanely mature, and then they get into a relationship, and they allow their vulnerability to get the best of them potentially.
You adopting a child and allowing yourself to get emotionally attached is vulnerability. That child can grow up and tell you, you're not my daddy, period.
And they could.
And that will hurt your feelings of the things that you expect coming from them. But the bottom line is...
The problem is that we have expectations of our kids and we shouldn't.
Your biological parents can raise you, and that child can tell that parent about themselves just the same.
Right.
In that space of vulnerability, the child is also vulnerable. And how many times a parent might have said to a child, in so many ways, you're not enough. Why you can't do A, B, C like your sister?
Oh, God.
That is not enough.
Right.
Why you can't dance as well as your brother? That is not enough.
But even relationships, why don't you listen to me? Why don't you do that? Like that, people would say that that's nagging, but you are tearing down like instead of saying, you know what? This is how I like to be spoken to, right? Like this is how I like to be touched. This is how I like to then you are allowing the person the room and the space to learn you versus chastising them for not having the right answers all of the time. And if you create the environment where it's always, well, why don't you? Why don't you? And if you just said from the parent's perspective, doing it with your kids or doing it with each other, that communication is going to pick at something like, well, damn, like, am I enough? Like, or maybe you want to go find somebody else?
There were days when I was known in my past relationship that I asked for too much. Right? It was too much of a demand. The question is, if you weren't ready to be on the market and available in all aspects of it,
I don't even call it demand, Carlos. It's standards.
You should not be on the market and say you're looking to date.
Words matter, right? I don't know that you were asking for too much. I think that you had a standard.
In their interpretation of it,
they interpreted that.
Which would go back to say, I am more than enough based on what my standards is for myself.
But you develop this confidence about yourself to know this is my standard and it's unshakable, right? This is just what it is. And not everyone
But dating someone like you in the beginning.
What you mean like me?
You were difficult in the beginning.
Oh my God, y'all don't even lie to these people?
No, you were difficult because again, at that age, 20, 21, you were still unpacking things that was done to you.
Well, this goes to this argument, unfortunately, I think plays into some of the widely held stereotypes that what is a 35-year-old man doing with a 20-year-old kid? Mm-hmm. That's what people think and then people say.
And then there's the opposite. There's a 20-year-old who going, you haven't grown up.
Correct.
To a 30-something-year-old.
But no matter where you are, like your chronological age doesn't dictate your mental maturity. It just doesn't. Right? Now, certain, like you mentioned earlier, certain experiences, I think definitely influence the way you think about things and how wildly and worldly you conceive the world and perceive yourself.
And I think also, so again, like I said, some of that come from parents, right?
Yes.
So now how do we prepare our kids?
We have to for this world.
Embrace the differences in the folks that they're going to play with on the playground and have a crush on.
I think it all starts with self-awareness. We have to teach our children and encourage them in whatever way we can to love on themselves. They have to first see us love ourselves, right? They have to first see the demonstration of love and that it's okay to feel yourself. It's okay to do things that make you happy first and foremost. Because
in a safe way.
In a safe way. And I think oftentimes, although I had those experiences with my family and they lifted me and they spoke well into me, I didn't always have
the real world.
It's a son of a bitch. The real world is brutal. And I think that in some ways I was sheltered a little bit from that because I come from a family where it's love and it's this and that and that.
And there are certain things that they never shared with you.
And there are certain things that I didn't experience.
Their experiences that would have been a good lesson for you to learn from.
I learned the hard way.
They did not share. And I think I keep on asking the question from years now, back in my church days. Because, again, the Spirit said to me once, if the adults in the church shared their stories, their testimonies, the next generation would not have to repeat it.
There's this, but that's just because people like to put on that there is this idea of perfection.
You put on a facade.
And it's not true.
So
life is not perfect.
Being authentic to ourselves, meaning that we walk in our truth.
But even online, people have these couples goals. There's this, there's that. Every single couple, and I don't care whether you are the Obamas or you are another couple that's less famous, right? Everyone goes through things and there's no perfect relationship. But again, you curate what you want people to see, right? And that's what social media has become. Social media has become, let me paint the pretty rosy picture for everyone to see and look at me, I'm goals. And people are trying to recreate that false sense of reality. Which they go back
in the idea of they're not enough.
Correct. And so when they don't get it, when it doesn't pan out the way that they hope to pan out, they look to themselves and say, well, maybe that's not it. And so when people say to us, or they comment online and we appreciate that, oh, I want a relationship just like yours. No, you don't. You want a relationship that's best for you. And you want a relationship that is healthy for you.
I could also see where they're coming from when they say I want a relationship. Meaning, loving, fun,
longevity,
all of that I can see, which is great to desire and want. But you also got to think about, am I ready to put in the work?
But not only that, we don't, and we'll never. We're not going to sit here, turn the camera on, and air out all of our dirty laundry for the world to see.
We don't have that much.
I'm talking about, Carlos really pissed me off today. Like, who's going to do that? There are some, and look,
even if you did,
I
you
would
got to
never
specify why.
I would never. There are I genuinely believe 85 to 90% of what goes on in our lives is for us, right? Mm-hmm. And yes, we appreciate and we share certain things, but a lot of the things you can share with your audience and with your virtual community.
You're making it sound as we have a bunch of drama.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is every single time I'm annoyed with you, I don't need to go turn the camera on.
But the question again is, why are you being annoyed?
You leave shit on the counter. That's annoying, right?
So then you fucking clean it up.
There you go. See? Exactly. Or
if you see something that needs to be done, then you do it.
But if
when your car is on low, because you don't fucking put gas in it.
But why you gotta
put gas in it?
Why you gotta call me out like
when your windshield fluids are low, and you don't stop to even know where the thing is to pour the damn windshield fluid. Don't it get done?
Why are you so loud with these people? So loud. But again, those are things that are just natural.
When I go in the bathroom and the toilet paper is now this much left on the roll, meanwhile there's a full roll there. Easily switch it out.
You have a phone and a watch, and sometimes you're not on time. It's a thing, right? I'm not. Issues in the house. Listen. But again, that's the point.
But my shoes need to be polished.
You better go to the freaking shoe shop. Get your shoe shine over here. But anyway, the point is that there's nothing called perfection. Yeah. And I think social media has not helped that perspective. And so when people get into relationships or
you know how that long that started? My aunt used to watch The Young and the Restless.
Oh, I used to love that show.
Reality TV is.
I used to love that show.
Influencing us before it became reality TV.
Correct.
Soap operas.
Yes, we have.
And I think that fake sense of what a relationship looks like, and it's a cookie cutter relationship.
It's not.
One size don't fit all.
It does not. But I think what I'm getting from all of this, though, I hope everyone here is also getting the same message, is that the I am enough. First of all, you are enough. You are enough. I'm enough. We're all enough.
There's a lot of people attempting suicide because of that same thought.
I think we have to be very, very careful about the inner dialogue that we allow ourselves to engage in. And you have to be healthy and aware enough to understand who you are around or the situations that you are in
and who you're listening to.
Right, and that are impacting how you view and think of yourself. We all have days where it's like, I don't want to be bothered. I'm not at my best. Mentally, I'm not clear.
Yesterday was one of them days and I just want to sleep.
Yeah, and so it's real life, right?
Yeah. And teaching our kids that there is a multitude of experience to have, and you don't necessarily have to have them at once.
Yep.
Take your time. And I think that goes back to the people that follows us and support us. Take your time, walk your walk, one day at a time.
Your walk.
Because at the end of the day, what we have is great for us,
but it could be better.
Right now, I'm a stay-at-home dad. Right now, and the social media.
And if you ask people, they would think that it was the other way around.
Yeah, but again, we had that discussion, and my ego is not wrapped up in me working a 9 to 5 and bringing in the bread. It's who's going to pick up the kids from school? Who's going to take care of the kids? Who's going to cook? Who's going to take care of the house? Yep. And because you had the potential, go back to what I was saying, to do much more, if you weren't educated and pursued that the way you did, you wouldn't have been available and ready for the opportunity that presented itself to you for you to start your career, right? So it's not that you can't experience dance, and you can't experience traveling, and you can't experience, but you got to figure out how much you need to swallow, how much piece you need to bite off.
This is where the religion, spirituality, faith thing comes in. Right? I believe that I'm enough generally. It doesn't mean there are days where I don't have self-doubt. It doesn't mean there are days where I feel like I have failed. It doesn't mean there are days where insecurities don't get the best of me, right? But what's more powerful than those insecurities is the knowledge and the belief that I deserve to be where I am.
You deserve to be happy.
And I deserve to be happy. And I deserve what I have, and I also deserve more.
And you worked for what you had. It wasn't
but
handed
the
to you.
deserving part and the work part go hand in hand, right? But even if I didn't accomplish what I've accomplished, I'm still worthy.
Yes.
Right? I'm still worth it. And the work,
Not everybody's meant to have a doctorate.
and not,
You know,
right. And not everyone is meant to be.
There's a lot of doctors that are assholes.
Right. And there's not a monetary value placed on worth, right?
But that was you living up to your full potential.
It's a goal I set for myself,
Yes.
right? And so I set goals. Like I'm very much big on that. Where do I want to be in 5 years? And I will backwards plan what that looks like. And the plan doesn't always go the way I want it to go,
Nope.
right? And if I didn't meet that goal, does it mean I'm less worthy? Absolutely not. It means that I
Just
didn't.
gotta try again.
There was either the timing wasn't right, the conditions weren't right, I wasn't right, or the goal wasn't right. And we got to go back to the drawing board. But I think we just have to first reset the internal dialogue that we have, because no one else is going to demonstrate the worth that we have for ourselves more than us.
And if you're dating someone, I just had a voice in my head. If you're dating someone who don't see your worth,
Bye.
you need to evaluate why you're there.
They got to go. They got to go.
Because sometimes it's not that easy.
Immediately,
Sometimes it's not that easy.
No, it's not that easy.
If
but
you can't live on your own, you're going to stay in the crap that you're in simply because you have no other place. In your head, you think you have no other place to go. But there's so many other programs out there that helps individuals who are down on their luck to some extent that you could go. But most people don't want to do that route because it's like going backwards versus recognizing sometimes you got to go back in order to move forward.
Yeah.
You know, so for us, we just genuinely want to encourage those who follow us and support us. First of all, thank you guys for all the love and support.
Yes, it means a lot.
And for the haters who always come up with
Let's not even.
No, I'm going to say something. I want to acknowledge the haters.
For why?
Because of you, you're like fertilizer in my roots. You allow me to grow even
manure.
Stronger. Yes.
Oh gosh, I knew where you were going. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Full of SHIT.
Don't say it.
But for those individuals who...
But they matter too.
Yeah, because without fertilizer, plants don't grow.
Everyone has a purpose.
So if you want to be fertilizer other than sunshine, it's up to you. So for the sunshines who have supported us, I appreciate you. If you see me in the streets, don't just run up on me. You can say hello.
Oh my God.
You remember at the airport?
Oh my God.
Can I get a hug?
And listen, when that happens, it's always jarring for us because to us, we're regular people. And I always ask people's names because you never, again, back to the worth part, you never know what people are going through.
In the moments.
And it is really important to connect with people because you never know who.
That 5 minutes of conversation can make a big difference in attempting suicide or recognizing that I can live another day.
Well, if they say unaliving, we get blocked in. If you say suicide, you say unaliving themselves.
Unaliving themselves.
Yes.
But I think genuinely when you think about where we started, social media-wise, to where we are now, never thought we would have been. Yeah. But we're going to utilize the opportunity.
But I will tell you one thing, though. I will never, ever, 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 ever use our platform as a demonstration of my value and worth. And it's not about how much money we make on social media. It's not about how many followers we have. And yes, from a business perspective, a lot of those things do matter. So let's not pretend that it doesn't matter. Yeah. But am I going to internalize those numbers as a demonstration of my worth?
As if you are.
Absolutely not. Not that I'm worth more or worth less. Like that would never happen. But I think it comes from a level of self-awareness. And it comes, as I said before, your internal dialogue matters, because when you are in the silence of your own home, when you're in bed at night, when the house is quiet,
and also the partner that you have also might be whispering shit in your ears and make you swell your head up, and you don't realize that.
Please whisper away, but
I'm not here to swell your head up. Sorry, I mean not that head at least.
And we're done. Cheers, goodbye, because ridiculous.